This morning we're here in Costa Maya, Mexico. Looks like another cloudy day, chance of rain. I'll check that weather app before I go outside to be sure how to prepare, but I don't think it's going to be much guesswork to this today. Of course, it says rainy conditions expected around 8 a.m. and guess what time our tour is? 8:20. But it's just a 45% chance of rain, and I'm going to just say that means it's a 55% chance that it won't rain on us. And I'm going to look at those optimistic odds. However, I am going to take that rain jacket that I've got hanging behind me. We are the first ship to arrive in port today, but from my balcony I see another one making its way here. By the time our ship was secured to the pier and we exited to meet our tour, 2 other ships had joined us, Oceania and Virgin Voyages. There's a little bit of a walk to take us from the pier to the entrance of the port area. We veer to the right, as the left side is the lane for returning to our ship through security. Signage is easy to follow for pre-booked tours or to book last-minute tours, and this thatched pavilion is the meeting place for multiple tours, whether purchased on land or from the ship. My weather app is not always accurate. This sign might be a better predictor of the weather here. Ship personnel were ready to help guide guests to the correct line. We were entertained by these costumed Mayans while we waited for our tour to start.
Sacrifice!
Before long, our tour was led just outside the port area to a lot full of waiting buses. Looks like Santa Claus booked this same tour, dressed in his vacation attire, of course. I see a group up ahead getting ready to take a bicycle tour, but we load our bus, and our guide tells us about the landscape and some of the Mayan history. We drive through the Mexican countryside, stopping a moment to admire a few horses before entering a small village where our bus lets us off at the entrance to some Mayan ruins. People from the village have set up tables to sell handcrafted items and other souvenirs. Our guide tells us about the history of this temple and how the various steps and platforms represent different aspects of the Mayan calendar. Our next stop is at a Mayan casita. The tour description said we would visit a home where we would have an authentic Mexican meal prepared in front of us. It was not exactly what I envisioned. Our bus led us off to a lovely gravel path, and we meandered through the vegetation. Rather than a house that I was expecting, it was more like a little compound with walking paths, several animals, and we stopped to watch the chickens running around and this turkey who decided to strut his stuff in front of us. Here is a container garden and well, and this area is the dishwashing station. A tub for washing, a bucket for rinsing, and a dish drainer for drying. They even have their own open-air chapel on the property. We were led to a circular area in the midst of the property. The seats are tree stumps, and our tables are made from boards attached to posts. Our guide introduces Mario and Gabby, who have prepared our meal today. I thought we were going to watch them actually make the tortillas and cook the chicken underground, but that's not the case. We lined up to receive 2 tortillas with the meat, and then we added the toppings that we chose. The plates are covered in plastic wrap, which probably cuts down on washing and conserves water. Here is my final plate, which is pretty plain, I have to admit. Once everyone was served, they offered seconds, while this guy explained all about the different tequilas. He gave tastes to those who wanted some. Thanks, but no thanks. My Coke will do just fine. The tequila talk took a little too much of our time, in my opinion, and of course they offered it for sale, but soon we were back on the bus and heading back to the port in that 45% chance of rain. Our timing could not have been better. Right now in Costa Maya it has finally gotten clearer, and I'm going to go back out in port to show you around the port. From my balcony you can see all the people coming and going in port. It is pretty crowded today because you do not only have the guests from the Sky Princess that I'm on, but the other ships as well, all using this same dock. The Virgin Voyages Scarlet Lady and the Oceania Vista, who came in this morning just after us, and Royal Caribbean's Voyager of the Seas, which just docked a few minutes ago. They take security to a whole new level here. I'm not sure what this guy will do to me if I cross that red line. I'm back at the entrance to the port area where we first were this morning, but this time I have a much clearer understanding of the tour gathering process, and I see all the labels for the different tours and the sections for people to enter depending on the tour they booked. You do not have to take a tour to enjoy your time in Costa Maya. When I turned to the other side of the tour hut and past the Mayan photo op and through the opening marked port entrance, there's an ATM machine to the right, and I just flow with the crowd through the congested duty-free port shopping building until I get to more of an outdoor mall of various Caribbean port usuals like Diamond International. This pole is used by some Mexican flyers. There's a couple of them costumed to the left. I decide not to climb those stairs for the view, so if someone knows if there's more than a view at the top, please post that in the comments for me. They perform throughout the day, and people who've stopped at the tables outside the cafe have a great place to watch until the show starts. More and more Caribbean port shopping at staples like Cariloa for products made from bamboo and Del Sol with color-changing items, but there are plenty of other shops selling everything from good locally handmade products to jewelry to Mexican souvenirs made in China. There's a fish spa if you want to stick your feet in a tank full of fish for natural foot exfoliation. I have a fine appreciation for natural products, but I just haven't brought myself to experience that yet. There's a complimentary pool here at the port, and it gets really crowded right here when you first arrive. I think people see those loungers and decide they better grab one without looking any further, or maybe they just want to be right by this pool in the sandy area. But if you keep walking past more shops, and my hint is don't walk super close to the shop entrances unless you really like to interact with salespeople, there are more things to see up ahead. Here's a great little spot to see flamingos up close. Just keep walking in this perpetual circle that seems to go on forever until you find what looks like an alleyway. And it will lead you to the dolphin discovery. Here you can enjoy interacting with the dolphins or watch others. You may be able to purchase this ahead of time from your ship. However, if you wait until arrival and if there's space available, you can book it right now. When I was here, the prices were not posted, and the guy at the desk told me that the price depended on what ship you were on, and it would be $110 to $120 for me, depending on whether I was just petting the dolphins or if I was swimming with the dolphins, and it would be charged to my onboard account with the ship. One thing I really like about this dolphin encounter is that spectators have several areas for watching and taking photos. Past the dolphin area takes me toward the port exit, through more curving walkways, but this seems to be a much calmer, less crowded section. Here are public restrooms on the left, which is convenient to those who just enjoyed the dolphin encounter, a little shop for necessities like sunscreen and other toiletries, an ice cream shop, with a passageway back toward the area I just showed you before with the flamingos. And a second pool and sandy lounge area, with plenty of available loungers and even some hammocks. There's a flow rider here, but it was not operational when we visited. Another public restroom and more souvenir shops and even more additional hammocks on the way to the taxi area. The sign indicates that it is a 2.2-mile trip to downtown for those who really want to walk it. The shuttles can take folks downtown and to the nearest public beaches. I didn't ask what the current price is to downtown, but I do know they take US dollars. If I retrace my steps back toward the ship, I can cut through this ice cream store to save a lot of time. This time I will walk along the other side of the fish spa and enjoy seeing some of the fun art sculptures. Past this beautiful building offering a variety of Mayan healing rituals for purchase, a massage hut, some lounge chairs for use by restaurant or bar patrons with a nice view of the ship, a Jeep photo op, and this ferocious cat, which is the only potential danger I encounter in Costa Maya. Not from fear of being eaten, but I wondered how I would get back up after I got down there for the picture. Ended up with a great day in Costa Maya. I'm Shirley with Shirley's Journeys, and I hope all of your journeys are pleasant ones.